Hi, this is Sue Jackson of the Book by Book blog, here with another Friday Reads. This week I started 2 new books. Start of February, new month, new books. I decided there were a couple of books that kind of fit this theme, so I decided to devote my February reading, for the most part, to Black History Month. It is Black History Month, so I thought, why not focus on Black authors, Black characters, books that deal with different aspects of Black history, you know, or sometimes they're contemporary, but anyway, it just worked with the books that are coming up on my reading list. So I was very excited to finally pick up Harlem Shuffle by Colson Whitehead. So my husband gave this to me for Christmas. Of course, all last year I was hearing great things about it, so I'm really excited to read it. I'm not all that far into it yet, but I'm already really enjoying it. The main character is a man named Ray, what's his last name? Carney, Ray Carney, and he lives in Harlem. The book begins in 1959, and Ray grew up with, his father was a crook. I mean, there's no nice way to say that. And Ray is determined not to follow in his father's footsteps. So he paid his way through college, he went to business school, and he started up his own furniture and appliance store. He's got a wife and a baby, and, you know, he's living this happy life. But the shadow of his father's background is kind of always in his life. Now, he grew up very close to a cousin named Freddie, I think? Yeah. And Freddie is always getting in trouble. And Freddie very much fits with the family profile. But the two of them are very close in age. They grew up together, so they're close. And Freddie normally is kind of a small-time criminal. And occasionally he will bring something to Ray that Ray suspects is probably not on the up and up, like a couple of gently used televisions. But Ray does sell secondhand furniture and appliances in his store also, and he accepts them and resells them. So he's kind of like on the fringes, but he's trying to keep his business respectable. He's very proud of keeping the books because, you know, he took accounting classes in business school. And Freddie, I'm just at the part where Freddie is starting to get involved with some harder criminals and harder crimes. And unfortunately, he's bringing Ray along with him. So that's just kind of the setup. I'm not very far yet. But I love, of course, it's Colson Whitehead. I love the writing. It's beautifully written. I'm really just totally engrossed in the story already. That's Harlem Shuffle by Colson Whitehead. Now, on audio, I started the book Kent State by Deborah Wiles. Now, she usually writes middle grade, but I think this is young adult. It's got some pretty intense scenes in it. And it is about the shooting of 4 students at Kent State in 1970, students who were protesting the Vietnam War. This book is so powerful already. Well, I don't think it's very long. I think I'm already pretty far into it. Oh, how to explain this? And I can't imagine it being any better than it is on audio, because the audio production has multiple narrators, and each of them is speaking first person from someone's perspective who was there. So there's a female and male student. There are a husband and wife from the town. There's a man who was in the National Guard at the time and was on site. And this is how it ties in with Black History Month as well. This is just general American history, but it is a part of Black history as well. They do have a Black voice there too. A Black student who went to Ohio State. And he's explaining that some of these same things happened at Ohio State, but nobody heard about it because the shootings at Kent State brought all this into the national media. So, and he's also there to explain that, you know, you don't understand that it was twice as dangerous to be a Black student protesting the war or, you know, protesting civil rights, standing up for civil rights, as it was to be a white student protesting. So, you know, that perspective is very, very interesting. But because these people are talking in the first person, recalling what they saw and experienced that day and in the days leading up to it, it is just so, so powerful. And you're getting all these different perspectives. And that's kind of, you know, one of the main points in the book is it's a different story depending on who you ask. You know, the townspeople thought the students were violent and dangerous. The National Guard were following orders. They were sent to do a job. So, and of course, the students thought they were just protesting the war. So it's just really, really great so far. Completely immersive. You just feel like you're in a room with these people. The way the book is written, it even kind of breaks the fourth wall and talks to the reader, referring to the reader as our friend. You know, let's tell our friend about what it was like that day, that kind of thing. So just outstanding. My prior experience with Deborah Wiles was also just really blew my mind. She wrote, I think it's called the 60s Trilogy, 3 books, all dealing with the 60s, civil rights, different things that happened in the 60s. Years ago, I read Revolution, which was a middle grade book by Deborah Wiles. I think it's book 2 in her 60s trilogy, and I loved it. Her writing is just wonderful. She really immerses you in the time period. In that case, it was 1964, set in a small southern town where, although Blacks had the right to vote, there were all kinds of laws in place and not laws, but people trying to prevent them from voting. So it's about that summer of 64. So also highly recommend Revolution by Deborah Wiles. And I'd really like to read the rest of that trilogy because I was so impressed with that one book. So this one is Kent State by Deborah Wiles. Very powerful, highly recommended. And I'm learning a lot that I didn't know about history. And that's it for me for this week. That's what I've been reading. Both very, very good books that I'm enjoying. And I'd love to hear about what you're reading. I love to talk books, so let me know in the comments down below what you're reading this weekend.